Right, hello everybody. We'll kick off now with the session and we will go through our program for today. We're focusing on Office 365. My name's Matt. I'm the IT Services Lead for Lords IT. And as I mentioned before, this session is being recorded as we've had lots of people who can't make the live session but would like to follow up afterwards. So today I'm going to take you through Office 365 for beginners, talk to you about where you store your documents, how you open your documents, what other tools there are within the platform, and how moving to cloud works. Now, I know a lot of the schools that we support at Lords IT have adopted Office 365 over the last year or so, and it's always good to have a fresh look at what's new on there because it's an online platform. It's constantly changing, so it's good to get a general overview, and hopefully as things change you can keep up with where they change and where things move. So the first thing we're going to focus on is logging into Office 365 because that's the best place to start. And then we'll move on to talking about where you can store your files, how you can access files shared with you, how you can share your files. Also talk about SharePoint, and then we'll be looking at the online tools and other platforms within there. So we will also be looking at tools such as Immersive Reader. We're looking at the Outlook for accessing your emails, showing you a few hints and tips on that part of it. We'll also be showing you Microsoft Forms, so you can see that. And then at the end, we'll be able to answer any questions you might have on using Office 365. Okay, so we'll dive straight in and we'll open up Office 365. Now, for lots of you, when you open Office 365 in your school, it will open up and log you in automatically. But I'm going to show you what to do if it doesn't, and we'll go from there. So the very first thing to do is to know the web address to go to access Office, and it's funnily enough, it's office.com. So if you just type office.com from any device, and you can click sign in. Now, it's really important that you make sure that you're logging in to the right Office 365 for a data security point of view. So things that you can check at the top here, first of all, it doesn't ask you for your username and password on one screen. It asks them just for the username, and you have to click next. You've also got up here the web address, and it's secure up here as well. So make sure that the web address is something that you recognize. So this login.microsoftonline.com is the login address, but also it's got the HTTPS and the padlock here as well. If you're not sure, it's best to ask your support team and they'll be able to help you. But as I say, type in office.com and enter your details. So if I enter my details on here, for our organization, it then takes us on to a login page like so. But for your organization, it may take you directly to a local logon page. And the difference is, if I just show you, is that this one takes you to a different page where you've got your username at the top and the password down the bottom. You can also see here you've got a little note at the bottom which we put on lots of ours so that you can tell it's the right page, and it's got the Lords IT wallpaper as well. Once you've done that and logged in, you'll be coming up with the Office 365 homepage. So we can see here, this is my Office 365 homepage. Now yours might have your own logo at the top and a different color on this top bar. Ours is a nice navy blue, but your layout of the page should be the same. So down the left-hand side of the page, we can see that we've got links to commonly used apps. These range from Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and Outlook, which you might know, to OneDrive for your document storage, plus all the other apps that are built in. These takes you to online versions, which means that you don't have to leave the browser to access these areas. So wherever you are, as long as you've got internet access, you can complete and edit your work. In education, this is really important because this means that our students don't need to install any software on their devices at home and can use it wherever they can get an internet connection. If you open it up on your mobile phone, it will show you a mobile phone version, and the same if you use it on a tablet. All are available on all those different devices. So we can also see on the right-hand side here, I've got my different files that I've recently been working on. And down the bottom here, I've got all my different files that I've been working on, and I can also go between my recent files, anything that's been shared with me or I've shared with other people, and any documents that I've put as a favorite document. On these screens, you'll also be able to see quickly when it was last modified, who that was sharing it, and the last person to edit this in this particular area as well. And I can click onto this file, And because it's web-based, it will open it up straight away in Excel so I can see what I need to do. Now, I've also got the option at the top right here to install Office. So if I am at home or a non-work computer, I can install Office by choosing Office 365 apps, and that will download and install it whether you've got a Mac or a Windows computer. You can also see at the top here, I've got a link for my day. If I click this, it will show what's happening in my calendar today if I need a quick look on what I'm doing. So I can see that I'm supposed to be in a meeting now showing people about Office 365. Luckily, that's where I am. And it's also a quick way to join a Teams meeting if you've been invited as well. You can also see here you've got your settings, and you can make basic changes here for your views, and in particular, if you don't like the brightness, you can turn on the dark mode using this toggle here. On my account, by clicking my name at the top, I can see my account up here, but on most of them you won't be able to change your password on this element, but you can reset your, if you've been asked to set up MFA, multi-factor authentication, you can go into view account and you can go onto your security settings and you can be able to change it on there as well. So if we head back on the left hand side here, we've also got the app launcher. If we click on that, it's present in across Office 365, and the first link just to your right here where it says Office 365, that will take you back to this home page at any time that you need to. You've also got a list of all the apps on here that you can use. They're shown in the order of most used, and you can quickly click down the bottom here on all apps and that will open everything up for you. You can also see your latest documents that you've been using on the bottom here, and as I say, because it opens up on any page, it allows you to quickly go back. So this is also what I call the SOS button. If you're lost, if you don't know where you are, you can press this button, go back to the home page or go to where you want to go. So let's talk about file storage in Office 365. As you can see, I've got loads of documents in there already, and across all of our schools that we're supporting, users' documents are being moved across to the cloud. What does this mean for you? Well, when documents are in the cloud, this means that you can access them on any time, anywhere, any device, as long as you can log into Office 365. There are also apps for OneDrive for most common platforms, and this means that you can open and edit and collaborate on documents wherever you are. The storage limit for the OneDrive is 1 terabyte, which means that you will hopefully never run out of space. It can go up to 5 terabytes for education users as well. To give you an idea, the typical amount of storage space assigned to school users before cloud was about 5 to 10 gigabytes if you were lucky. So 1,000 gig is a terabyte. You can see there's a lot more space there, and that's just for your personal documents. So in your OneDrive, this is the equivalent to your My Documents that you've had before. These are folders that only you can see unless you choose to share them with other people. So you can see in here, it looks very, very familiar. But what I'd like to show you is that this is available in multiple different places. So currently I'm showing you in the web browser, and just like anywhere else, I can click into a folder and see the documents that I've created. But I can also, on my machine that's set up, open it up like so. Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right screen on there for everybody to see. I can set it up on here. So these are my OneDrive here, and these folders are the same that I've just seen in the OneDrive on there. The Wes folders down here. This is just an alphabetical order. And on here, it's by date modified. So if we do A to Z, we can see these are exactly the same files on here. If I add something into this folder or I add it on my computer into that folder, they all update on the same way. And just to prove that happens, I'm going to right click down here and going to choose new item. And I'm going to choose to create a new text document and say, here we go. And then that will sync up to the cloud. And we should see in a minute that will come up here and be up on my screen. So we'll just wait a second for that to do it. And it will come up on the screen. And you'll know that it's new because it has this little blue thing, crown almost on it. And that means it's a new file or folder. Here we go. Here's a message here. And we can see that that's been uploaded a few seconds ago and it's straight on there. But another way I can also access the files is if I've got Word or Excel or PowerPoint on my computer, and I can open those up like so. And you'll see by default, I can see documents here that I've recently used, and you can see that they're OneDrive on here. But if I click the open button, you can see I can browse to my OneDrive from within here. And again, the folders are exactly the same as on the other places. And when I add or update documents in here or on the other methods, they all update to the central place. So these folders and such like, as I say, are private by default. Only you can see them and your administrator on the network if they need to, if they're on a school account. However, you may wish to share your file or folder with other users so that they can see either everything in a folder or a particular file. And one of the big benefits of Office 365 is the ability to collaborate with other users. So we can find a staff or a folder and we can share that one. So I'm just going to create a new one, just so I don't share anything I shouldn't. And I'm going to then find that folder here, and I'm going to press the share button. Now I can press the share button here, or if I select it, I can use the share button up the top here as well. They both do the same things, and even if I press on the 3 here, I can press the share here. They all do exactly the same thing. So just note on this one, it's currently set to private, and we're now going to share it. So the share screen is common across all of Office 365. So the settings that I'm going to talk you through here can be used for individual documents from within Word, Excel, and PowerPoint and other features, or they can be used for files and folders via the OneDrive or SharePoint. And the first thing that you get is this option of who you want to share with. There are 4 different options, and we're going to go through each one. The first one is anyone with a link. This means that anybody with the link that you provide to them can access it. This means they do not need to authenticate. They don't need to tell us who they are. If they get the link from somebody else, they can get in and access the information. This may be useful for in schools if you want to share something with parents that doesn't have any confidential information. Maybe it's a kit list or something similar. You can share that very, very easily. Or for quick and easy sharing of something that's got no information in it that nobody else can see. Use it with caution, obviously bearing in mind GDPR and the data policies for your schools. Down here on this mode, we can choose for other settings whether to allow people to edit it. And if you allow people to edit, this means anybody can edit a file. Down here, we can set a date for the link to stop working. And we can also set a password. If we set a password, we can only set one password for this document. And that means that it's not GDPR compliant because anybody can share that password. And if I wanted to generate that, I'd just literally click on apply. And I can either put an email address in here, or I can copy the link using the button here. If I copy the link, I can then paste it into an email or whatever else I need. But if I want to put it in an email in a lot easier way, I can press the Outlook button and it will open up Outlook with the link inside the email for me, like so. And then I can just use it to send an email and send it out there. And just a note of caution, if you are using this, up the top here, you've got the encrypt button for your emails, and that means if you're sending a file or folder, that it will anything that you put in the email will be encrypted, as well as, of course, the file or folder being password protected at the end of it as well. So well worth using. But if we just jump back to the share menu again and we just go into the other options, we've got this second one down, which is people in Our Lady of the Magnificat. That's our organization. You may well say your school name on there, and that is literally anybody in that organization with an email address, so they can access it if they've got the same email ending as yourselves. In schools, bear in mind this means that staff and students can access it because typically they all are part of the same organisation. So anybody is part of that. And if you're in the Our Lady of the Magnificat, or another multi-academy, that's anybody within the multi-academy can as well, because they're all part of the organisation. Again, if you select this option, you've got the option to turn on or allow editing for that particular one. People with existing access, this allows you to go in and change the settings that you've already applied. And if you click on specific people, you've again got the option to allow editing or not on this one as well. If you forget and want to change it, you can use this option here to edit it or to change the view as well. If you click on the link settings, you can go back into this screen and make sure that you're choosing the right option for you. Now, the one that we recommend to use generally is the specific people, and you can put in here, you can start typing any email address that you've emailed before in Office 365, whether that's internal or external, and it will remember it. You can also send it to groups in your school as well. So for example, if you wanted to share something with a group that you've created in Office 365 and you've got a team for it, you can search for it here. So if I type here Gurpreet, who's one of our new technicians, I can send it to Gurpreet on here, and it gives me the options of which email address I want to do. I can add a short message as well, and of course I've got the links down here as I've previously mentioned. Once I do that and I share it with Gurpreet, so let's just share it with him, you can see on the right hand side in a minute it will change that test folder from private, maybe it needs a quick refresh, it'll change it from private to say that it's shared. So if we come down here, we can see that it's shared now. If I click on the shared icon on the right hand side now, I can see who's got access to it. So I can see this one here is my link to Gurpreet. So say I don't want Gurpreet to do anything anymore, I can remove him from this link. So if there's multiple people, I can remove individuals so they can't access any anymore. Or I can go in and change the link so that they can only edit it. So they can edit it now, save that, and the same link for Gurpreet and everybody else who's got that link that you invited them on it, they'll now be able to edit it. I don't need to create an additional link. I've also got the ability here to delete the link and remove the access. So now the link that Gurpreet's just got for that won't work anymore. Also, this one here that I said anyone with a link can view, again, I can just delete it, or I can go in and I can change whether they can view or edit it, and I can change the expiration date on that link as well. Now, it's important to note that anything that you set on a folder will apply for all the folders and documents within that folder. So it's very important that you make sure that you want to do that to an individual file or an individual folder, but it's just the same. If you just click the individual document, you can choose to share that, and it's exactly the same links as well. So that is your OneDrive, and as I say, only you can see it. You've got plenty of space and you can choose to share the files and information with you. You can access it on your laptop or computer, providing you've got the OneDrive app. And in addition, you can access those files and folders directly from Word, Excel or PowerPoint, just by going to File Open or File Close and making sure that you're logged into Office 365. The other options just on the left here, just to run through. You can quickly go into your recent files. If you're looking for something you can't remember what you named it, you can go straight into it that way. And you can also press the shared button. The shared button allows you to see files that are being shared with you or by you. So you can quickly find something that's been shared if you've forgotten the email. And if you click on shared by you, you can have a look at all the information that you've shared with people before, and you can stop that sharing of that information. So it's a very quick and easy way to do it. Finally, we've got the recycle bin. The recycle bin allows you to have a look at anything that you might have deleted. It's important to note that anything in the recycle bin will be there for 90 days after you click delete. Even if you delete it from the recycle bin, you've got 90 days from when you first deleted it, as in when it went first into recycle bin, to call IT support and for them to get it back to you. After those 90 days, those documents won't be there anymore. So just bear that in mind. If you've pressed delete twice or even just once, you've got 90 days, so 3 months to get it back from there. And that is OneDrive, a very quick overview of what you can do in OneDrive. The only button I think that I've missed out is this one here where you've got the new button. If you want to go in and create a Word, Excel, PowerPoint, you can quickly. You can do a new web link, or if you press folder, you can create a folder on there as well. The search button up here as well allows you to quickly search through the contents of files and folders and find the work that you're looking for. So if you know what you're looking for but can't remember what it was named, then that should be a quick way to find it for you. So that's OneDrive. Let's switch over now to SharePoint. SharePoint is the equivalent online to your shared drives that you'll have previously or still have at your individual schools, such as your all staff share or your individual team shares that you might have. So on here you can see that I'm a member of quite a few different teams down here, and I can go into these teams and see the information in there. So if we go into the Lord's IT share, on here you can see that I've got loads of different tools on mine, but in a very basic way I've got my shares, and I can click to go into, for example, my Lord's IT share, which is where we share everything. And all this is exactly the same as the OneDrive, but more people can access it. So you can see at the top right here, I've got the ability for people to be members or not of the site. So if I want to share it out with somebody else, I can click add member and they'll be able to see the information on this site. There's lots of weird and wonderful things that you can do with SharePoint to create a really interactive, but this is the basic stuff that you'll need to do, and you can navigate it just as you could before. One of the important things to realize here is you've got these two buttons at the top, the sync and the add shortcut to OneDrive. If you click the add shortcut to OneDrive, it does exactly that. So when you open up your OneDrive, you'll have a link straight through to this folder. I'll show you how that works in a minute. And you've also got the option to sync this share onto your computer. So let me just show you what that looks like on my screen. So first of all, with the create a shortcut, I'm in my OneDrive and you'll see that I've created a shortcut, and so my Lord's IT share is shortcutted in my documents. I can click that and it takes me straight through to the Lord's IT share. So all my files are there nice and easily. What I can also do is choose to sync a share. So if I press the sync button up here, it will sync the information to my computer. So I need to click allow, open, and click close, and that will then create a new link on the side here for me for my Lord's IT share. I've already got it set up, so it doesn't look that impressive, but it comes up under Our Lady of Lords, and I've got a link there to the Lord's IT share, so I can quickly see that on my device. Just a way of making it a lot easier so you don't have to go through the web interface. The other thing is, as I said previously, you can see this in Word, and this time we'll go into PowerPoint actually, and we'll open it up in PowerPoint, just so you can see it's the same in all of them. So here's PowerPoint, and if I go to open, I've got my sites option, which is my SharePoints. See my Lord's IT one up the top here, and I can see here's my Lord's IT share, and this is all the information. So from within your Word documents, as long as you're logged in at the top here with your name, you'll be able to click on the OneDrive or the sites for SharePoints to access your files and folders on any computer. And as I said at the start, go back to the home page, you can install Office 365 onto 5 devices. If you install it onto there, it will, using this link up here, it will automatically map your OneDrive and your SharePoints on your computers for you. But obviously we ask that you bear in mind who else can access the device before you install and log in on there, because the last thing you want is other people having access to your files. So that's a quick overview of Office 365, SharePoint and OneDrive, where you can access your files. OneDrive is your personal share, SharePoint is your shared documents share. Now the time is to show you a couple of neat tricks that you can do and a couple of tools that you've perhaps never used before. So the first one, we're going to jump into Word. I'm going to show you a couple of the tools that are in Word that may be useful for you. So when I click on Word, bear in mind, again, I'm using this in the browser, but I could do this through the Word app if I wanted to. And I'm going to click on my new blank document and create my Word file. You can see that the layout is very similar to what you have on your computer, and you are able to compose a Word document just like you would be at home. One of the features I want to show you is the ability to dictate. If I press the dictate button and allow it to use my microphone, you'll see that on the screen it will start showing you everything that I'm talking about on the screen when I click the button to start. So this is now dictating everything that I'm talking into it. You can do this in your mother tongue if it's not English as well. You can change down here the settings that for the language that you want and anything else that you want. And on the right hand side here, it shows you what languages you can do. So Chinese, Spanish, French, German, Italian, etc. Down there as well. It also tells you how you can correct stuff with your voice as well. Now you can use this in a range of programs. You don't just have to do it in Word. You can do it to compose your emails. You can do it to compose your PowerPoints. And it's just a very simple way of making it a lot quicker to create your documents. Full stop, new paragraph. So you can see on here that it's common punctuation and symbols and such like can be used, and it will all come up onto the screen. The other option on here that I've got as well is the ability to transcribe. So if I'm in a meeting and I've got multiple people there, I can record it and it will make the transcription of all the work, all the meeting notes and everything in there, and work out who said what. And it makes life very, very easy if you've got to do that a lot. Other things is if I press the editor button, I've got the ability to go through the editor. That will give me a score on my spelling and grammar, and also on all these different elements as well. And if you're in a school and you're a teacher, you've got the ability to check for similarity to online sources, which will do a quick check for you and see if anybody else it's come from anywhere else. So if you're reviewing something from a student or such like, it helps you check if they've copied it from anywhere else. The other option that I've got is, which is new at the top here, is Designer, and this will take my document and make it look fancy without me having to do anything. It's also possible in PowerPoint, which I'll show you shortly. So it'll take your document and it will suggest different designs and such like that you can do using it. It's a new feature, so they're still working it out. So that's good. And they can, it works really easily of putting a design in. Finally, Immersive Reader helps make sure that all the documents and a lot of the features in Office 365 are accessible to all our users. By clicking on Immersive Reader, it moves the document that you've got into a large screen view, and it remembers your individual settings on there. So for this, I've got it on a yellow, I'm colorblind as well, yellow background with black text. And you'll notice that the text is one that's designed, so this is Comic Sans, designed for people who suffer from dyslexia to help them understand it better. So what I can change without having to bother my teacher or to bother a colleague is I can change the size of the text on the screen. I can change the font if I need to, and I can also choose a myriad of color schemes. So maybe I'm better with black background and white text, or maybe I'm better in white background and black text. I can put that up on my screen completely. If I click the next button as well, you'll see here that I can break down into syllables as I've already done, but I can also ask it to highlight for me nouns, verbs, for example, in different colors on there. I can also ask it to label that so I could work that out from my work. And remember, this is work that I've dictated in. So I haven't actually typed anything at this point. Finally, I can go on to the reading preferences. Now, it may be that I focus better on one line at a time. Maybe it's a bigger mark of 3. Maybe it's a paragraph at a time. I've also got the picture dictionary turned on. So if I find a word that I'm not sure what it means, such as button, I can click on that and it'll show me a picture of it. And it will also be able to read that back to me so I can understand what it is. This is particularly useful if we want to translate our document. So here we can choose to translate into one of 60 different languages. We're going to go for Dutch today, and we're going to do the entire document. And you can see here that I have changed my document to Dutch. I can go back to the original if I want to. And I can also get it to read it back to me in my mother tongue as well. So if I press the play button, it will record that back to me in Dutch. But let's go back for English at the moment. Let's go into the original, and I can press play and it will start reading. You can see that it moves along. Now that's quite fast, so I can choose to slow it down if I want to, and I can choose male or female voice, and it will be able to go through all that for me. And I just press back and it hasn't even changed anything. So that's under View Immersive Reader. You can also do that in your emails, and I'll show you that quickly when we're looking at emails in a minute as well. So that's a couple of features on Word that you may not know that are there now. I'm also going to show you on PowerPoint a couple of really cool features, save you having to mess around. So if we click on into PowerPoint, there's a couple of really cool stuff. The first one is making PowerPoints look good. So if I've written some work like this, you'll see on the right hand side on the designer, it is suggesting different views for me, and I can click on that and it will change the design of my template. So on this one, if we just give it a quick play in the background, we can see that it's got a movable background on there. But if I was to now add a picture, and I can do this from online just by searching Bing Pictures. So if I want to search for the word office, such as that picture, and probably that picture as well, we're going to go for 2. I can put them into there, and you'll notice on the right hand side, the designer is now changing the designs available to me based on my original selections on there as well. So very quick and easy to create a decent PowerPoint now without having to worry about how it looks, which you might have had to do before as well. But when it comes to actually doing the slideshow, there are a couple of really useful tools in this if you're doing presentations for students or even for parents. The first of all is Present Live. What this does is allows you to ask people within your session to scan a QR code on the screen and follow along with the PowerPoint from wherever they are. They basically scan it and they can look at all the different slides and give you feedback onto it at the end. So you can see here, I've got the QR code. They can, once they scan that, or they can enter the code into a laptop or computer, they will be able to follow along on their device, and they'll also be able to see live translations on there as well. So if you've got parents or students at an event and they don't follow it and you don't want to make a big deal about it, they can do this and choose a language themselves, and it will show you at the top how many people have joined. Now by default that is just for people within my organization, but you can choose on the drop down menu to have it for anybody there as well. You've also got the audio settings for this here, and you can choose which microphone that they can hear and which subtitle language you want it in, if you want it in a different one as well. The other option, which is a lot more simpler, is just this always use subtitles button. So what I can do here is I can say that I'm speaking in English UK, and my subtitle language I want is Chinese, and I want it at the top. So now if I just start my PowerPoint, you will see at where I said at the top here, it's doing the live translation on the screen from what I'm saying into Chinese. Now that's really, really powerful, but even if you have it just in English, it actually helps with comprehension for students as well. So I can have that on all my PowerPoints so that people can see it and follow along with what I've said. And if we wanted just to change that and see that in English, we can do that nice and easily. So we'll do that. And we'll do always use subtitles, and we'll just click on the play button again, and we can see here that it's should have the subtitles on at the top. If I just press that, it's got the subtitles on the top now for this presentation, so really useful. And you can, of course, as you're seeing, do this over Teams as well. It's not 100% correct, but it is really powerful and gets the vast majority right. So that's a couple of points for you in PowerPoint. One of the other things that I talked about was the ability to share from within here. So you'll notice in Word and PowerPoint, you've got the share button, and you can choose how you want to share it. So whether you want to copy the link or email the link, it's up to you. And then the same window that we talked about before comes up for you to share that individual slide. But actually, the big difference for when you're within the app is that if another person comes in here, you can work on it together. So, and you'll be able to see just by little icons, their avatars, where that person is, which slide that they're editing, what changes that they've made, and you can do it together and collaboratively. And that's really powerful in a classroom as well as working remotely, or if you're collaborating with another user and stuff, you can see things change in real time. You can also, up the top here, is rename your document. You don't have to save your documents in Office 365, they all save automatically. So if you wanted to rename it after it's saved, you can click on here and just rename the thing up here. So I can call it test, and then you can see I've got the options of where I want to save it. Now when I click that, I can choose my quick access for myself for all my files. Oh, I don't know where all my files have gone now. And I can go into there and I can just save it into my folders with all the other stuff. But by default, it saves into your OneDrive, and obviously you can go and access it at any point. So that is PowerPoint and Word. And we're just going to touch on, before anything else, onto the email section. So this is my email here, and we can see here all the emails that have come through. Now, this is very similar to Outlook on the desktop. And we can have a look on all the different sections that are in your normal document. So if we come down here, we've got all our folders on the left-hand side, and then we've got individual emails that we can go into, such as this one here. And we can choose to reply, as you'd be able to expect you would normally down the bottom here, reply and forward, or you've got the options along the top here to reply and everything on here. If you click the three buttons on the top right, you've got lots more options. And also one of those, if you go on to view, is the Immersive Reader that we talked about earlier on. And you've also got the ability to report the message if you believe it's spam, phishing on there as well. You can also give a thumbs up to it. And that's quite a cool feature. You can also see along the top here, you've got your calendar built in as well. So it tells you what you're doing and when you're doing it. And if you want to switch to your calendar, you use the icons up the top here where you can click on My Day and it will show you the calendar here or your to-do list up here. And that's really quick and easy to use. Or you can jump on the left-hand side to the calendar view as well and view your calendar from there. You can also use Outlook on the app or on the desktop. And so if we open up the desktop version of it, you'll see that the emails are exactly the same once they've just updated. Okay. So if I just come out of that and we head over to showing you a couple of new things now in the form of forms and Sway, a couple of tools that you could use to make your life really easy compared to how they may have been before, certainly in IT anyway. So on here, you've got the ability to create a Sway. So Sway is a PowerPoint, but without all the hassle. So we can create one very quickly. And it's a web page, so it can be used on any device. You can use it to share information with students and staff on any device that can access a web link. That's really quick and easy to use. You'll see here that you use cards. So this is my title. I'm going to have a bit of text and I'm going to add an image. So I've got 3 of my different information here. So let's start at the top. My title for my Sway is ice cream because it is very hot today. And I want to do a little PowerPoint on ice cream and dream that I was having one. So I can quickly find an image for an ice cream on here, drag it across and put my image on there. I can add some text here about ice creams. And then maybe on the bottom here, I would like another picture. So we'll go for a lovely chocolate and strawberry sundae. And because I've got my information there, if I just click play, it creates this content for me automatically just from that little bit of information. And I can include videos and tweets and all sorts of information in there for people to have a look at, including forms, which at the end of it, people can, if you've shown them some revision stuff, they can learn the revision on it at the end as well. I can share that nice and quickly with anybody else in my organization by clicking the share button. And if I don't like how it looks, if I click the edit button and I come out of this and I come across to the left-hand side and click design, I can press the styles button and I'll just say, I don't like that, remix it. So this time it's done it black and white. You might want it horizontal to go across, in whichever way that I want it really to go across. I can choose those different options on here just by hitting that remix button. Okay, so Sway, very quick and easy way to create content, really good for school newsletters and revision stuff where revision materials, because you allow users to go through it as and when they need to. So lastly, coming on to forms, if we click on forms down here, we can see that we can create multiple different types of forms and or quizzes. Now we're going to focus on quizzes, but you can do forms as well. If we do a new quiz, we can see that what this allows you to do for teachers and also for admin staff who need information is quickly get that information from the users and then be able to use it for either feedback in the testing or anything else that you might need to do. So if we go on here and we're going to have a quiz saying, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? Do that. Might want to put a bit of an image in there so we can have a look for ice cream. Again, nice and easy, just click the image, click add, and it will go into there. And now I want to put my questions. So my first one is going to be, what is your name? There's no correct answer to this one because it's whatever your name is. So we'll go on to the second one and we'll choose choice, multiple choice. So here I want to go, what is the best ice cream flavor? Now, when we start to type things in here, such as chocolate, maybe notice down here how it guesses what I'm talking about. So I can click strawberry, maybe it's mint, maybe it's vanilla, maybe it's butterscotch. I don't think there's such thing as grape flavored ice cream, but there's peppermint maybe there as well. And I'm going to, on the side here, if I hover my mouse, I can say which one's the right one. Actually, the right one hasn't been added. We all know that the right favorite flavor of ice cream is banana. I can't spell it, but it tastes good. And I can then say, okay, that's the correct answer for this one. And I can give feedback. So well done. But if they choose peppermint, this is wrong. So that's my quick quiz. And what we're going to do is just see how it might look. So if we go on to preview, this is how it looks. I can quickly change up here whether I've got on a computer or mobile. That's how it might look. And I can enter my name, Dave, and choose which one I think is best. I think banana's best. Submit it, and I can view my results instantly. And I can see I've got banana right, and I've got the feedback on there as well. Now I could have on this one said that if you get it right, you get 1 point. But if I click on the responses tab here, I'm able to see everybody's responses as they do it live on the screen. Now I can also click to open it in Excel, and that will open up the responses in Excel and show me who's done what. And if I click up the top here as well, where the send button is to send it out to people, I've got the same options here as anyone can have it, only people in an organization can have it, or just specific people can respond. But I have more ways of sharing it. So I have this option here to share a link, just put it in an email. I can press the email button, which will open up an email, as you can see, and put it in there. And I can also create a QR code, so people can view that on the wall and complete it, or maybe you can print it out on a worksheet. And then I've also got the ability to embed it into a website should I want to, or into a sway, which is what we've just done just now. So I can do my form. So I could go through the sway. The last part in the sway is the form, and then so I can give them the information, allow them to explore it, and then mark them on their answers at the end. And if it's multiple choice, it will automatically mark that for you. And we can put that information to your MIS for you or such for. So it's really powerful tool, but also for non-teaching staff, you've got that ability to collect and get answers to stuff, whether that's sending it out to parents or to other staff members for important events like the Christmas party, or whose car is it on the school car park. So you can collect all that kind of information. So that's a brief overview there of Office 365 and everything that it can do. Well, not everything that it can do, actually. You can do a lot more exciting stuff as well as the basics that I've shown you. But basically, when you're ready to do that, there is another session where we can go into it in a bit more depth. But I hope that's covered a lot of questions that people have got first off. So just a quick reminder, you log in at office.com. You've got your OneDrive, which is accessible on the desktop or through Word or in the internet browser, and that allows you to access your personal files. You can share them with other people, but by default they're private. And you've got SharePoint, which is your shared drives and is shared with a group of people, and you can access that anywhere that you want as well. You can share things with individuals in and outside of your organization as long as you've got an email with them, and that's a really secure way of sharing. You've got Outlook for your emails. We showed you some tools such as Immersive Reader and dictation in Word. We showed you in PowerPoint how you can make your PowerPoints a bit more engaging for students or for parents at an event. And finally, we showed you Forms, which allows you to collect information, and if you're a teacher, do a quiz and have it marked. If you're not a teacher, then you can just collect information and export that into an Excel document at the end. If you have any further questions, our support team is ready and waiting to give you a hand. Just get in touch with us at lawsit.org.uk. And thank you very much for taking the time to attend this training. I hope you found it useful. The video will be up shortly.